Hello, welcome to the Reaching Out channel. I wanted to take this opportunity to explain the reason for us exiting so suddenly of the Jehovah's Witnesses in January 2014. We'd reached a crossroads in our lives. We'd just moved house. A close member of our family was battling cancer, so we just reached a crossroads in our lives, and we just decided that we were drawing the line in the sand and we needed our questions answering. We'd spent many years just chugging along like everybody does, having private concerns, never really sharing them, just hoping that things would get sorted out in the end. But as parents of young children, we decided that actually we had a responsibility to our children, because it's a very demanding life being a Jehovah's Witness, and so we wanted to be 100% sure in our own minds before we continued imposing that lifestyle on our children. So there were 4 major areas of concern for us. There was the child abuse cover-up, which we now know, thanks to the Royal Commission inquiry in Australia, that indeed is happening. The second one was the generation doctrine, which had been introduced with no scriptural backing, and in fact we wrote to Brooklyn Bethel asking for clarification, waited 5 months, and they sent us back a letter basically quoting the Watchtower articles that we'd quoted to them, saying read the Watchtower. So that was really unhelpful, and we waited 5 months for that reply, rather unhelpfully. The third one was higher education, because I feel that the choices that I make for my children, whether they go into higher education or not, is sort of irrelevant. I think that the choices should be available to all, and it's not a decision for your religion to impose on you. And the fourth one was blood transfusions. When I had my first child 7 years ago, we'd been trying for a long time. It was a much desired child to have. We were over the moon to have our baby. And so when I went to see my consultant, and immediately I was categorised as a high risk patient because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And when I spoke to the consultant, I was really interested in what he had to say. And it was a real eye-opener actually, that we'd been told that there are lots of alternatives to blood and there's no need to worry, and actually the message I was getting from the hospital was actually the situation is different, and so that moved me to, I still filled out my blood refusal form, I still filled out my hospital consent form, but what I also did was I wrote a letter of wishes stating that in the event of there being a life and death situation, that I would go with the doctor's recommendations as to my best choice of healthcare, all options open, because I couldn't reconcile my loving God wanting me to die and miss out on my children growing up and leaving my children without a mother. That just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But like lots of things as a Jehovah's Witness, you're told not to see the argument through to its logical conclusion, but I have to. So that was the choice, that was the personal decision that I made. And so with those things in mind, we started researching all the literature, all the Watchtower publications, the CD-ROM, to try and get the answers to our questions. But unfortunately we found even more questions than answers, and so that was a month of research that we did, and it really brought us to the conclusion that the organisation was not all that we thought it was. Thank you for listening, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.